I'll work your fields. Human, just please stop my kids from eating dirt again. The crash had ripped through the atmospheric shell like a feral claw, firestorm trailing my escape pod until it finally, violently, slammed into the skeletal remains of what looked like a colossal, long-dead warship, half buried in the crimson dust. Jax coughed, every bone screaming, tasting ozone and rust. His comms were dead. His ship was a junkyard sculpture. Standard Tuesday, really. He hauled himself from the twisted metal, his scavenged toolkit clattering beside him. This desolate rock, pockmarked with geothermal vents spewing glowing gas, felt wrong. Like something was watching. He squinted through the swirling crimson haze. The air was thick, metallic, hot. He reached for his sidearm, the familiar weight, a small comfort, then remembered it was probably slagged. Shit. Asterisk. A flicker of movement, not the shimmering heat haze. Something moved with purpose. Tall. Too tall. He froze, a smart-ass scavenger's instinct screaming, "Run, you idiot!" Asterisk. But where? The wrecked starship loomed, an ancient bone temple of alien tech, its shadowed corridors beckoning and threatening. He took a hesitant step, favoring his left leg, and that's when the ground shifted. Not an earthquake, a creature. Its skin, or whatever passed for it, rippled with faint internal light, like embers under dark scales. Eyes, large and luminous, fixed on him. They were the color of liquid mercury, cold and ancient. She moved with unnerving silence, gliding from the shadows of a warped hull plate. Her form was sleek, powerful, predatory. Living armor seemed to shift with her movements, sinuous and sharp. She wore nothing else, no clothes, only the plates molded to her physique, and a collar of jagged, iridescent bones around her neck. Her gaze was assessing, like he was a curiosity, or prey. He swallowed, his throat suddenly dry. Well, hell, didn't expect a welcoming committee. You guys got a 5-star rating for hospitality out here? His voice was a rasp. She tilted her head, a slow, deliberate motion. A low hum vibrated from her throat, a sound that resonated deep in his chest, making his teeth ache. Her glowing eyes narrowed. Human. Her voice was a dark, rich current, laced with an unfamiliar cadence. You have trespassed. You have soiled sacred ground with your debris. She gestured to his smoking escape pod. You are now my claim. Her voice was a declaration, not a question. Your claim? Jack scoffed, despite the prickle of fear. Look, lady, I didn't mean to park my hunk of junk on your lawn. Just a little navigational hiccup. We can talk compensation, I'm sure. I've got some. Well, I had. Some pretty sweet comm units. She stepped closer, her scent hitting him like a physical blow, a sharp, musky perfume, alien and intoxicating. He flinched back, stumbling against a piece of twisted hull. Compensation is irrelevant. You are chattel. You are mine. Her hand, long fingers tipped with wickedly sharp obsidian claws, shot out, grabbing him by the throat. Not hard enough to choke, but enough to convey absolute power. His breath hitched. Her glowing eyes flared, a predatory spark in their depths. Do you understand, scavenger? Understand what exactly? Jax choked, trying to pry her grip loose, uselessly. That you're a little possessive? Look, I'm just a guy trying to make a living. Not looking for any interspecies dating, thanks. She merely tightened her grip for a second, her thumb pressing against his pulse point. Her luminous eyes scanned his face, then drifted lower, an unsettling, explicit appraisal. Her hum intensified, a low thrum that seemed to vibrate his very bones. Your pulse quickens, your scent changes. You are afraid. Yet, you speak defiance. Her grip shifted, pulling him closer, until his face was inches from hers. He could see the intricate patterns of bioluminescence beneath her skin, shifting like slow-motion nebulae. Her pupils were vertically slit, like a cat's, but far more ancient. This ground is consecrated to trials of worth. Your crash, your presence here, it is a challenge. To me, to my lineage. Her voice was low, almost a purr, but it carried the weight of ages, the confidence of a predator. A challenge? Lady, I tripped into this place. My challenge right now is getting this metal out of my ass and finding a working ship. You're an unexpected hurdle. He tried a wry smile, but his lips felt stiff. My name's Jax, by the way. What's yours? Or do I just call you Your Glorious Holiness? She didn't smile back. Her expression remained utterly severe. I am Vylara, first daughter of the Broken Star, scion of the Obsidian Throne, emissary of the Deep Core. She released his throat with a suddenness that made him gasp, stepping back just enough to observe him. And you will call me Mistress. Or Claimer. Jax rubbed his throat. Right, Mistress. Got it. So, Mistress, what exactly does being claimed entail? Because if it involves like ritualistic sacrifice or being a lab rat, I'm gonna have to respectfully decline. Vylara's gaze was unsettlingly direct. It entails your service, your body, your submission, your purpose. She gestured with a clawed hand towards the distant, jagged peaks that spiked into the crimson sky. The obsidian throne calls. Your arrival is synchronous. A sign. Jack stared. A sign? I'm a sign of a faulty navigation system, not a damn prophecy. He glanced around, desperately searching for an exit, a rock to hide behind, anything. Look, can we just agree this was a misunderstanding? I'll be gone by morning. You'll never see me again. I'm a professional disappearing act. Vylara's glowing eyes seemed to mock him. You are claimed, human. Your escape would be a violation of the sacred law, and a challenge I would meet with enthusiasm. Her claws, extended slightly, gleamed. Come, you will accompany me. We have much to discuss. And much to do. She turned, a swirl of shifting bioluminescent patterns across her back, and began to walk deeper into the fractured landscape towards the immense, derelict warship. Wait! Accompany you where? What are we doing? Jax stumbled after her, pain shooting up his leg. He had a bad feeling about this, a very bad feeling. Her only response was a low, guttural hum that sent shivers down his spine. Vylara didn't bother looking back. Jax limped after her, cursing under his breath. Every step sent a jolt up his spine. She moved with an alien grace, her bioluminescent patterns shifting with each fluid motion. He felt like a dog on a leash, an unseen one. The massive warship, a skeletal leviathan, loomed closer. Its corroded hull was scarred with ancient battles, glowing fissures tracing lines where energy surges had once erupted. Inside, it was a maze of twisted girders and collapsed bulkheads, the air thick with the smell of old power conduits and something else, something organic and faintly metallic. They moved deeper into the ruin, the light dimming until only Vylara's internal glow illuminated their path. This is your home? Jax asked, his voice echoing in the vast space. It is a temporary sanctuary, a place for reflection, for trials. Vylara didn't slow. You will share this space. She led him to a small, relatively intact chamber, tucked away in the belly of the ship. It was bare save for a raised platform of what looked like polished black stone, and a faint, pulsing light emanating from a crystal embedded in the wall. The air here was strangely warm. Cozy, Jax muttered, looking at the stone slab. Is that where you keep your sacrificial virgins? Or is it just your bed? Vylara turned, her glowing eyes fixing on him. It is where the worthy rest, where bonds are forged, where you will learn your place. She gestured to the slab. Lay, Jax scoffed. Lay? Like a dog? Not happening, mistress. I got a bad back from that crash. I'll take the floor. He leaned against a wall, trying to project defiance. Despite his shaking leg, Vylara's hum vibrated through the chamber. You defy me? Already? Your species has a strange concept of claim. She stepped closer, her form radiating heat. Among my people, a claim is absolute. It means submission. Yours. Not a negotiation. Her hand reached out, those obsidian claws glinting, and hooked around his wrist. She pulled with surprising strength. You will lay, or I will make you lay. Hey, hands off, lady! Jax tried to pull back, but she was stronger, impossibly so. She dragged him, protesting, towards the slab. He stumbled, then she shoved him, and he landed hard on the cold, hard stone. His breath left him in a whoosh. You trying to break me or just my spine? Vylara leaned over him, her body hovering inches above his. The soft glow from her skin illuminated his face. Her scent was overwhelming now, a dizzying mix of musk and something sweet like exotic fruits. I am testing your spirit, your spine, as you call it. Her fingers still curled around his wrist, traced up his arm, then settled on his chest. He could feel the warmth radiating from her and the faint vibration of her internal hum against his skin. You tremble, yet your eyes hold defiance. Curious. She paused, her head cocked. When I say claim, human, I mean to take. Do you take by arguing with your mates? Jack spluttered. My mates? No, we usually, ask first, or at least buy them a drink. Definitely don't drag them across the floor and physically assault them. Vilara's glowing eyes narrowed, a flicker of what might have been amusement in their depths. Ask? Drink? Are these human courtship rituals? Strange. Does the female then allow herself to be claimed? Is her resistance a test of worth? She sounded genuinely confused, and for a terrifying second, Jax thought she might try to ask him with the same forceful determination. No, look, it's more about mutual consent. Respect, Like, both parties agree, not one party just declaring ownership. He tried to sit up, but her hand pressed firmly on his chest, keeping him down. Your customs are inefficient. Consent is given by strength, not words. A mating bond is declared. It is then sealed through physical acts. And then the female is claimed. Her eyes drop to his crotch. Is this asking how humans ensure fertility? Your drinks must be potent, Jax groaned. No, that's not. It's just a social thing. A precursor. Look, this is a cultural misunderstanding, okay? I don't want to be claimed. I want to go home. Vilara chuckled, a low, throaty sound that was both unsettling and strangely alluring. You are already home, human. My home. You are mine. And your struggles are amusing. They indicate vitality. Good. I abhor weakness. Her eyes lingered on his face, a spark of something unreadable in their depths. He suddenly felt very, very exposed. The air in the chamber grew heavier, thick with Vilara's alien presence. Jax lay on the cold stone slab pinned by her hand, his breath catching in his throat. He watched her glowing eyes, unnervingly steady. This wasn't just a powerful alien. This was something ancient, something that moved with the confidence of a queen. All right, mistress, he said, trying to regain some semblance of control. You've proven you're stronger. Congrats. Now, can we talk about what happens next? Because my vitality is rapidly depleting. Vilara's gaze flickered to his chest, then lower, a slow, deliberate sweep that made his skin prickle. Next, human, you will understand the full meaning of my claim. Her fingers, still on his chest, moved slowly, tracing the line of his ribs. The subtle vibration of her hum resonated against him. My people believe that worth is proven through challenge, through strength, through the willingness to embrace the uncomfortable, even the painful. She leaned closer, her breath warm against his face, smelling faintly of ozone and something sweet. Your defiance, your continued protest is a part of this trial. It is a necessary friction. Her other hand moved, casually reaching down, her obsidian claws brushing against the fabric of his trousers. Jax stiffened. Whoa, 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 friction? Is that what you call it? Look, I'm not a gladiatorial arena. I'm a human. We have boundaries. Vilaras hum intensified. Boundaries? My species recognizes only the boundaries of the worthy. Those who overcome them are honored. Those who cannot are discarded. Her touch, light but firm, explored. He felt a sudden electric jolt. This wasn't just curiosity. It was a prelude. His breath hitched. He tried to squirm, but her hand on his chest held him firm. You seem to misunderstand, human. This is not for your comfort. It is for your awakening, your claiming. Her head tilted. Does discarded mean your people simply abandon the weak? Or do they make them work the fields? Her tone was serious, as if genuinely seeking clarification for a concept alien to her. Jax almost laughed, a hysterical bark. Work the fields? What the hell? No, discarded means you get ignored or fired or sometimes eaten by a grue. He didn't know what a grue was, but it sounded sufficiently terrifying. And this, he swallowed hard, as her fingers found more sensitive territory, this is not how you awaken someone. This is assault. Vilara's glowing eyes held his, unblinking. Assault. Another curious human word. Does it mean a powerful assertion of will? A taking of what is desired? Her hum deepened. Yes, then this is assault. I desire to take you, to bind you, to break your false boundaries. He felt a flush creep up his neck. Her words, twisted through her alien perception, made a perverse sense. She truly saw this as a form of power, a ritual, and he was the subject. You're not breaking anything, Vilara, he gritted out, despite the tremor in his voice. His body, traitorously, was beginning to respond to her touch, to the sheer, raw, unyielding power she exuded. He hated it. I'm just tolerating your unique hospitality. For now? She smiled then, a small, subtle upturn of her lips, a flash of something sharp and knowing. It sent a fresh wave of heat through him. Tolerance is the first step, human. Surrender, the last. The crystal in the wall pulsed brighter, casting stark shadows across her face. Outside, the low rumble of something far off echoed through the derelict ship, a deep thrum that seemed to harmonize with Vilara's internal vibration. Jax felt a sudden, cold dread. He knew that sound. It was the low-frequency hum of a blood cult's hunting vessel. They were here. The distant hum grew louder, a deep, unsettling vibration that resonated through the ancient hull. Vilara's head snapped up, her glowing eyes narrowing, no longer focused on Jax. Her hand left him, and the sudden absence of her touch felt surprisingly cold. The Devourers, she whispered, her voice a low growl, devoid of its previous amusement. They have followed. Jax pushed himself up, rubbing his chest. Devourers? Don't tell me this is one of your challenges where I get to be dessert. He scrambled off the slab, limping towards the entry to the chamber, peering out into the dim corridors. What are they? And why are they following you? Vilara moved with sudden, predatory efficiency. She was already at the chamber's entrance, her shifting bioluminescence dimming, almost blending into the shadows of the ancient warship. They are a blight, a cult of lesser beings who seek to consume the power they cannot wield. They hunt the strong, the pure-blooded. She turned, her gaze sweeping over him, a swift assessment. And now, they hunt you, human, for they sense my claim upon you. They will believe you are a conduit, a sacrifice. Jax felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold stone. A conduit? A sacrifice? Look, I'm just a simple scavenger. The only thing I conduct is my own business, and sacrificing myself isn't on the agenda. The hum outside intensified, accompanied by faint skittering sounds. They're inside, aren't they? He breathed. Yes. They are drawn to the pulse of ancient power in this vessel, and to the nascent bond between us. Vilara's voice was tight. They seek to sever it, violently. She reached for his arm, her grip firm. Come, we must move. The lower levels offer more concealment, more opportunities for assertion. Assertion? Right. As long as it doesn't involve me asserting myself into their guts. Jax winced as she pulled him along. They moved quickly, deeper into the bowels of the derelict, the low thrum of the cultist's presence growing louder. Vilara moved with silent grace, her senses acutely tuned to their surroundings. He, however, kept stumbling, his leg protesting. So, what do these devourers want with a conduit? He whispered. Do they, suck your soul out or something? Because my soul is pretty boring. Vilara glanced back, a flash of her glowing eyes. They would drain your life force, integrate your essence into their own twisted rituals. They seek to taint the claimed, to corrupt the bond. Her voice was grim. They believe a pure bond such as ours holds immense energy. They would siphon it, and then, when it is depleted, they would discard you. Discard it again. Jax muttered. Man, your people and these devourers have a serious discarding problem. He saw movement ahead, a dark, hooded figure slipping past an aperture. Shit, they're close! Vilara pushed him behind a fallen bulkhead. Silence. Their senses are keen. They track by resonance, by the echo of potential. She pressed close to him, her body a warm, powerful shield. He could feel her hum vibrating against his back, and something else, a raw, primal energy radiating from her. Her scent was stronger now, a sharp, intoxicating perfume that filled his nostrils. He was acutely aware of her powerful form pressed against his, the shifting bioluminescence on her skin. Their shared confinement, their mutual danger, was forcing them into an intimacy he hadn't bargained for. His heart hammered, not just from fear, but from something else entirely. "So, this bond of ours," he whispered, "exactly how pure is it? Because it feels pretty involuntary from my end." Vilara's voice was a low rumble against his ear. "It is forged in threat, tested by struggle, consumed by will." She turned her head slightly, her glowing eyes, inches from his, holding his gaze. "A pure bond, human, is one that cannot be broken, not by fear, not by pain, not even by desire, only by death." The irony wasn't lost on him. They were hiding from a death cult, and she was talking about a death-proof bond. He wondered if this was her version of flirtation. It was certainly effective. The cultists were a whispering menace, their low chants echoing through the derelict ship. Vialara pulled Jax deeper into a narrow vent shaft, the space so tight their bodies were pressed flush, chest to back. Her scent was overwhelming in the confined space, a primal musk that filled his head. He could feel the slow, steady thrum of her internal bioluminescence against his skin, a strange, comforting vibration despite the terrifying circumstances. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" he whispered, his voice muffled by her back. "This smells like a death trap." Silence. Vilara hissed, her voice a low growl. "It is a path only the desperate or the truly blind would follow. They will not anticipate it." She paused, listening, her head cocked. Her body was rigid, coiled, every muscle tensed for immediate action. He could feel the heat radiating from her, even through their clothes. The silence stretched, broken only by the distant, eerie chants of the devourers. Then, closer, a guttural shriek. "They have found something," Vilara breathed, her voice barely audible. "Perhaps one of their own." She shifted, turning slightly to face him in the cramped space, their knees knocking. Her glowing eyes were mere inches from his, reflecting the faint emergency lights from above. "Human, tell me about this respect you spoke of. The mutual consent?" His heart hammered against his ribs. This was an odd time for a cultural exchange. It's about acknowledging someone's autonomy, their right to choose, not forcing them into something. Vilara's gaze was intense, unblinking. "Choose? But what if the choice is incorrect? What if it leads to weakness, to death? My people believe the strong choose for the weak, for the survival of the bond." Her voice was low, resonating through him. "Is this why your species is so soft, so easily broken? You allow weakness to choose its own path to destruction?" Jax felt a surge of frustrated heat. "We're not soft. We just value individual freedom. And sometimes freedom means making your own mistakes." He tried to shift, but there was nowhere to go. Her body, hot and unyielding, pressed against his. "So, if a mate were to choose to escape a sacred bond, would you allow it?" Her question was pointed, loaded. He knew what she was asking. Number, not if it put them in danger, not if they were being stupid. But I'd talk to them first. Try to convince them, not just grab them and drag them. Vilara's gaze dropped to his lips, then back to his eyes. "Words. You rely on words for all things. My people rely on action, on claiming, on the physical declaration." Her hand, slow and deliberate, found his. Her fingers were long, cool, her obsidian claws surprisingly gentle as they interlaced with his. A spark, a strange, undeniable jolt, ran up his arm. "Is this asking?" she murmured, her voice husky. "This joining of forms, this shared breath?" Jax's breath hitched. "No, Vilara, this is close. This is forced proximity. This is not asking. This is dangerous." He could feel the blood thrumming through his veins, a mix of fear and something else, something animalistic and raw. Her thumb stroked his knuckles, her glowing eyes never leaving his. "Dangerous, yes. All true bonds are dangerous. They push you to the edge. They demand everything." Her face, illuminated by her internal glow, seemed to shimmer, her features sharp and compelling. The weight of her gaze, the heat of her body, the undeniable pull between them in this constricted space, it all coalesced into an unbearable tension. His own body, despite his protests, was betraying him. He could feel the subtle shift, the undeniable hardening. Vailara's eyes dropped, her gaze predatory. A soft, satisfied hum vibrated in her throat. "Yes," she whispered, "this is dangerous, and it is very, very good." The air in the cramped vent shaft grew impossibly hot, thick with the scent of ozone, Vailara's unique musk, and the metallic tang of his own rising fear and desire. Her grip on his hand tightened, her fingers intertwining with his, as if seeking an anchor. Her glowing eyes, still locked with his, reflected a primal intensity he'd never seen. He felt a deep, resonant thrum radiating from her, a low pulse that seemed to synchronize with his own frantic heartbeat. "We are compromised," Vailara breathed, her voice a low, urgent current. "They are close," the devourers. He heard it then, the scuff of heavy boots, the low, guttural murmur of alien voices right outside their hiding place. The vent was thin, too thin. They were trapped. "Shit, what do we do?" Jax whispered, his voice strained. His gaze darted around, searching for an impossible escape. "There is only one path to concealment," Vailara stated, her voice calm, utterly resolute. "The sacred concealment, a binding of forms, a claiming of essence." Her hand, still gripping his, moved to his chest, her obsidian-tipped fingers splaying over his heart. The warmth of her palm was immediate, penetrating. "Among my people, when threat is absolute and two souls are destined to bond, the ritual of the deep resonance is activated. It is a fusion, a consumption. It masks our presence, but it demands everything." Her eyes, luminous and ancient, bore into his. "Do you understand, human? There is no asking here, only the taking, the giving." "Taking? Giving? What the hell are you talking about?" He felt a sudden, profound terror, not just of the devourers, but of her. Her words were a confusing blend of ritual and threat, but her intent was chillingly clear. Her other hand, slow and deliberate, slid to his waist, her thumb hooking into the waistband of his pants. A jolt, electric and raw, shot through him. "No!" he gasped, trying to pull away, but the confined space made it impossible. "Vailara, wait! This isn't—" "This is," she interrupted, her voice a low purr, utterly commanding. Her glowing eyes flared, a sudden, blinding burst of light that stole his breath. He felt a sharp, intense pressure on his mind, like a sudden invasion. Images flashed, a vast, star-strewn void, ancient rituals, searing heat, primal instincts. He gasped, his mind reeling. Her other hand moved with shocking speed, tearing the front of his pants. A cold, sharp gasp escaped him as the cool air hit his exposed skin, followed immediately by the scorching heat of her touch. "This is the binding," Vailara declared, her voice rough, primal. She leaned in, her lips finding his neck, her teeth raking lightly, just enough to sting. He shuddered, a mix of pain and raw animalistic pleasure. Her body pressed against his, hip to hip, breast to chest, every curve of her alien form molding to his. He was acutely aware of her strength, her power, the way she was utterly claiming him. His protest died in his throat, replaced by a ragged groan as her hand, sure and unyielding, closed around him. "Your body accepts, human," she whispered against his ear, her voice husky. "Even as your mind resists. That is the truth of the bond, the primal draw." Her thumb began to move, a slow, deliberate stroke. He clenched his jaw, fighting the response, fighting the shame, but it was futile. His body, traitor, surged in her grip. "I will not break," he choked out, his voice hoarse. "You can't force this." Her fingers tightened. "Oh, human, I already have. You are mine. Now, for the final seal. For the truth of your worth." Her hips moved, a slow, deliberate grind against his. He felt the friction, the heat, the undeniable push of her desire. Her eyes, still blazing, seemed to pierce his very soul, drawing him into the core of her alien, untamed being. The air crackled with energy, his breath came in ragged gasps. He felt himself rising, helpless in her powerful grip, pulled into a maelstrom of sensation. A guttural growl escaped her lips as she leaned in, her face close to his, her glowing eyes devouring his. Surrender, human. Surrender to the binding. To me. He was caught in a current, a maelstrom of sensation and alien energy. Violara's hum was a deep, resonant thrum that vibrated through his very bones, synchronizing with the frantic beat of his heart. Her glowing eyes were a twin sun burning into his, pulling him deeper into a world of primal instinct. His body, a traitorous landscape, surged against her dominant touch. No, he rasped, but the word was weak, a dying echo against the roar of his own rising desire. Her fingers tightened around him, exquisite, demanding. Her hips ground against his, a slow, relentless rhythm that pushed him to the edge. The scent of her, sharp and musky, filled his head, intoxicating him, blurring the lines of resistance. He felt himself lose control, the fight draining from him, replaced by a desperate need for release. "You are mine?" Vilara declared, her voice a low, guttural growl that reverberated through him. "You are claimed." She pressed closer, the hard plates of her living armor cold against his skin, a stark contrast to the burning heat she generated beneath them. He felt the friction, the exquisite pressure, the undeniable pull, his hips arched, seeking, his eyes closed, a raw groan escaping his lips. And then, with a sudden, violent thrust, she moved, guiding him. He cried out, a sharp gasp of both pain and profound pleasure as he was initiated, consumed, utterly taken. She had found him, locked onto him, integrated him. The confined space of the vent shaft disappeared, replaced by the all-consuming reality of their joined bodies. Her alien anatomy was a tight, demanding sheath, different yet utterly fulfilling. She began to move, a powerful, rhythmic undulation, each thrust deep, absolute. He gasped, his hands blindly reaching, finding purchase on her shoulders, his fingers digging into the cool, scaled skin. His mind fragmented, overwhelmed by the sheer primal force of her. This wasn't just sex, this was a claim, a brutal, beautiful assertion of ownership. Her movements accelerated, a driving, relentless pace that pushed him higher, faster. He felt the ancient thrum of her bioluminescence intensify, a searing heat building within him, a strange electric energy flowing between their joined bodies. Her head tilted back, a low, keening sound escaping her throat, a sound of pure, unbridled pleasure and dominance. He could feel her tightening around him, contracting with each thrust, pulling him deeper into her essence. The devourer's chants outside faded into an insignificant hum, distant and irrelevant. Only Vilara existed, only this raw, undeniable connection. He felt a shift, a new resonance, deep within himself, like something ancient and dormant had just been awakened. His vision blurred, then sharpened, and for a fleeting moment, he saw through her eyes, a flash of molten core, of ancient stars, of an endless, hungry void. He saw himself, small and fragile, yet blazing with a fierce, unexpected light, being consumed and made part of something vast and eternal. A primal scream tore from his own throat as his body betrayed him completely, convulsing in a shattering release. He felt a searing heat spread through his veins, a branding, a marking. Her own climax met his, a powerful, shuddering contraction that gripped him, pulling him into the deepest core of her being. As he collapsed against her, breathless and spent, he felt a strange, cold pressure on his skin, just below his collarbone. He looked down. A series of faint, glowing lines, like intricate tattoos, had appeared on his chest. Vilara's bioluminescent patterns pulsed brighter, mirroring the marks on his skin. Claimed, Vilara breathed, her voice hoarse, triumphant. Marked. You are mine, human, for all cycles. The new raw marks throbbed, a constant glowing reminder of the bond. Jax lay panting, utterly spent, pinned under Vilara in the narrow confines of the vent. The faint glowing lines on his chest pulsed with a strange heat, mirroring the bioluminescence that still flickered across her skin. His mind was a chaotic mess of pleasure, shame, and a terrifying, undeniable connection. "What the hell was that?" he gasped, his voice raspy. "What did you do to me?" Vilara pushed herself up, her breathing still ragged, But her eyes, though still glowing intensely, held a new possessive light. She looked down at the marks on his chest. It is the bond mark, human, forged in resonance, sealed in shared release. It signifies your integration, your truth. She traced a finger over one of the glowing lines, her touch sending a fresh shiver through him. You are no longer merely claimed, you are bound. You are of my blood now, my spirit. Jax stared at the marks, then at her. Of your blood, your spirit? Are you saying we're married? Because that was not how I pictured my wedding night, Vylara. At all. She tilted her head, a hint of her previous amusement returning. Married? Is that another human ritual for claiming a mate? If so, your rituals are inefficient. This is far more effective and permanent. Her gaze swept over his body, possessive, satisfied. You are now an extension of my will, my strength, my purpose. Jax groaned. An extension of your will? I'm an independent contractor, Vylara. My will extends to finding a decent meal and not getting my ass eaten by cultists, not being your personal bond slave. Bond slave? Vylara repeated, her brow furrowing slightly. Is that what your species calls the sacred unity? A shared destiny forged in fire and purpose? She seemed genuinely curious, despite the heat of their recent encounter. The devourers will sense it now, the unbreakable resonance. It will either drive them to greater fury or to utter despair. They will understand the depth of my claim. As if on cue, the faint chants outside intensified, rising in pitch, sounding agitated, furious. Or greater fury it is, Jax muttered, pushing himself up, the bond marks on his chest throbbing. Great, so now they're even angrier that I'm your bond slave. He felt a strange combination of fear and something akin to protectiveness towards her, a visceral instinct that surprised and horrified him. This wasn't just a physical bond. It was something deeper, something that resonated in his bones. Valara's expression hardened, her eyes blazing. They will learn what it means to challenge the daughter of the broken star, and what it means to touch that which is mine. She moved with renewed purpose, slithering expertly through the narrow vent, urging him to follow. Come, human. Now you will fight for your claim, for your worth. For me. Jax scrambled after her, adrenaline surging through him. The glowing marks on his chest felt like a brand, a constant reminder of the alien female who had just ripped apart his reality and remade it, violently, into something new. Fight for you? You just took me, he hissed, his voice echoing in the tight space. You didn't ask. You just decided I was yours. Vylara didn't look back. Her voice, a low, confident growl, drifted back to him. Your protest only serves to highlight your vitality, human. Your resistance makes the claim stronger. Now, focus. The devourers are coming, and they will learn what it means to face a bonded pair. He felt a jolt of something he couldn't quite name, a terrifying, exhilarating recognition. They were a bonded pair, and the universe apparently was about to find out exactly what that meant. The whispers outside intensified, transforming into a guttural roar. Vylara moved with a predator's grace, her bioluminescent patterns shifting with every agile movement, leading him through the maze of twisted conduits. Jax, despite the lingering aftershocks of their intense encounter, found himself matching her pace, a strange electric energy coursing through his veins. The bond marks on his chest pulsed, a warm, constant reminder of their forced, ritualistic union. He felt a deep, unsettling awareness of her now, a visceral sense of her presence even when she was out of sight. It was unnerving, like she was a part of him. There are too many, Jax muttered, peering through a cracked grate into a vast, open chamber below. Scores of hooded figures, their bodies lean and almost skeletal, scuttled through the dust. Their movements were jerky, unnatural, their low chants filled with a chilling, bloodthirsty hunger. How do we fight this many? Vylara's hum was low, almost a growl. We do not fight them as two, we fight them as one, as a bonded unit. She turned, her glowing eyes fixing on him, a fierce intensity in their depths. Your strength, human, lies in your defiance, your unpredictability. Mine in my command, my ritualistic precision. We are stronger together. This bond ensures it. She didn't wait for his reply. With a sudden burst of speed, she kicked open the grate, dropping silently into the chamber below, a dark, luminous blur. Jax hesitated for only a second. The idea of being one with her after what she'd just done grated on him, but the alternative, facing those cultists alone, was worse. He jumped, landing hard, wincing. One right, just try not to get me eaten, one. The cultists noticed them instantly. Their chanting ceased, replaced by ragged shrieks. They turned, their faces shadowed by their hoods, but he could feel their malice, their hunger, radiating from them. Vylara was already a whirlwind of motion. Her obsidian claws flashed, a blur of deadly precision. She moved like a dance of death, striking with brutal efficiency, her movements fluid and powerful. She wasn't just fighting, she was performing a ritual, each strike a declaration of dominance. Jax, armed with only a piece of jagged metal he'd scavenged, found himself moving in sync with her, a strange primal rhythm guiding him. He ducked under a cultist's clumsy swing, his makeshift weapons scraping against their chitinous arm. He felt a surge of rage, of animalistic protectiveness, not just for himself, but for her. This was his fight now too. They seek to sever the bond. Vylara roared, her voice ringing through the chamber, her bioluminescence flaring with each powerful blow. They seek to consume what is mine. Her words sent a jolt through Jax. What was hers? He was hers. The realization, terrifying and exhilarating, fueled him. He moved, faster, more instinctively. A cultist lunged at Vylara from behind, but Jax spun, slamming his makeshift weapon into its side. The cultist shrieked, reeling back. Vylara glanced at him, a flicker of approval in her glowing eyes. Good human, you learned the dance. He gritted his teeth. I'm just trying not to get filleted, mistress. But there was less sarcasm in his tone now, more grim determination. He was fighting for his life. And for some strange, twisted reason, he was fighting for their bond. The air filled with the sounds of combat, the clang of metal, the guttural cries of the cultists, Vylara's sharp, decisive movements. He felt the pull of their shared bond, a subtle, almost telepathic link that allowed him to anticipate her moves, to fill the gaps in her defenses. It was terrifyingly effective. The chamber became a maelstrom of violence, illuminated by Vylara's shifting glow and the occasional flash of energy from the cultists' crude weapons. Jax fought with a desperate primal fury, the bond marks on his chest burning with an insistent heat. He moved with a new, unsettling fluidity, anticipating Vylara's attacks, covering her blind spots, a strange, symbiotic dance of death. He was no warrior, but the connection, the sheer will of Vylara, flowed through him, making him sharper, faster. Their leader! Vylara roared, pointing with a clawed hand to a towering, armored cultist whose hood was adorned with pulsating bioluminescent tendrils. He fuels their fervor! Strike him down, human! Jax, gasping for breath, saw the leader focusing a beam of dark energy at Vylara, a vile, corrosive light. Instinct took over. Not on my watch, bitch! He yelled, launching himself forward, a desperate, defiant leap. He slammed into the cult leader, disrupting its aim, sending them both tumbling to the dusty floor. He heard Vylara's answering roar, a sound of fury and approval. He scrambled up, his makeshift weapon ready, but the leader was faster, its armored fist slamming into his gut. He doubled over, gasping, the air knocked from his lungs. Weakness! The cult leader snarled, its voice a gravelly rumble that seemed to reverberate in his skull. It raised its hand for a killing blow. But before it could strike, a blur of glowing scales and obsidian claws descended. Vylara, a living weapon, tore into the cult leader, her movements a devastating display of power. She ripped through its armor, shrugging off its desperate blows, her roars echoing the ancient, primal rage of her lineage. The cult leader shrieked, a sound of agony and despair, as Vylara plunged her arm deep into its chest, its pulsating tendrils wilting and darkening. She ripped something out, something dark and pulsating, holding it aloft. The remaining cultists faltered, their dark fervor draining, replaced by fear. They began to scatter, their whispers turning into desperate whimpers. Their source of power is broken, Vilara announced, her voice ringing with triumphant authority. Their corrupted bond is severed. She crushed the pulsating object in her hand, and the last of the cultists fled, melting back into the shadows of the derelict. Jax leaned against a support beam, trying to regain his breath, watching her. She stood amidst the fallen, blood dripping from her claws, her body still radiating immense power. But when she turned to him, her glowing eyes held something softer, something akin to pride. "You fought well, human," she said, her voice a little rough. "You protected your claimer. You proved your worth." Jax pushed himself off the beam, gingerly touching his bruised ribs. "Yeah, well, someone had to. You can't just go getting yourself killed. What would happen to your claim then?" Vilara's lips quirked, a ghost of a smile. "Indeed, a broken bond is a weakness I do not tolerate." She stepped closer, her hand reaching out not with aggression, but with a strange, possessive tenderness. She cupped his face, her thumb gently tracing the line of his jaw. "You are more than I anticipated, human. More than a simple scavenger." Her eyes held his, and he saw a flicker of vulnerability there, an unspoken acknowledgement of the depth of their forced connection. "You have courage and a surprising ferocity. I thought you would break. You did not." He felt the warmth of her hand, the silent approval in her gaze. "I'm not easy to break, Vilara," he murmured, his voice low. "Even if you did your best to try." He looked at the glowing bond marks on his chest, a testament to her brutal claim and to his unexpected survival. This was his new reality. A savage empress, a forced bond, and a universe that just got a whole lot more dangerous, and perhaps a lot more interesting. The last of the devourers had vanished into the oppressive silence of the derelict warship, leaving behind only the metallic scent of battle and the thrumming of ancient systems. Vilara stood over the crumpled form of the cult leader, her glow dimming slightly, a queen surveying her conquered domain. Jax, still leaning against the support beam, watched her, the strange, burning heat of the bond marks on his chest, a constant reminder of their new, unsettling reality. He could feel her presence, a low, resonant hum in his very bones. "So," he finally said, breaking the silence, his voice a little hoarse. "Now what, mistress? Are we going to work the fields of dead cultists? Or do you have another sacred ritual to spring on me?" Vilara turned, her gaze sweeping over him, a proprietary warmth in her glowing eyes. "The devourers are gone, for now. This vessel is secured, but our purpose here is not complete, human." She began to walk towards him, her movements still fluid, but with a new, less aggressive fluidity. "The bond is forged. It demands public acknowledgement, validation by my lineage, by my people." Jax felt a sudden cold dread. Public acknowledgement? What does that even mean? Are we talking like a press conference? Or a parade where I'm wearing a loincloth? Vilara stopped before him, her hand reaching out, her obsidian claws retracted. She rested her palm on his chest, directly over the pulsing bond marks. A gentle warmth spread through him. "It means you will be presented as mine, as a testament to my strength, and to the validity of your capture, your choosing." She smiled then, a small, knowing upturn of her lips that sent a shiver down his spine. "You have proven yourself worthy of my claim. This is not a slight, human. It is honor, a rare honor for one such as yourself." Jax looked down at her hand, then at his glowing chest. "Honor, right. So, all that taking and assault and breaking your boundaries was just your way of being honorable?" Vilara's hum vibrated against his chest. "Yes. The strongest honor is earned through overcoming the greatest resistance. Your defiance was delightful." It made the claim stronger, more resonant. She paused, her eyes searching his. "Do you understand, human? That I would not have taken you, would not have bound you, if I did not see worth in you? Your species may value consent by words. My people value it by spirit, by the unwillingness to break." He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I guess I don't have much choice now, do I? With these glowing tattoos and all." He nodded towards his chest. "So, where are we going? And who are these people of yours?" Vilara's gaze was direct, unwavering. "We are going to the core of the broken star, my ancestral home. My people are the Lumina, the keepers of the deep resonance. They value dominance, purity of lineage, and the claiming of worthy mates. She leaned closer, her voice dropping to a low, intimate murmur. You will be presented, and you will be integrated. You are now part of my destiny, human. And I, of yours. He felt the weight of her words, the absolute certainty in her tone. His life as a lone scavenger, drifting through the cosmos, was over. He was claimed, bound. And somehow, despite the terror and the outrage, he felt a strange, thrilling flicker of excitement. This was dangerous, this was insane. But it was also undeniably, profoundly real. Right, Jack said, his voice quiet. So no more dirt eating for the kids then? Just planetary integration and mating rituals? Vilara's smile widened, a flash of something predatory and possessive. Exactly, human. Now come. Your new life awaits. She took his hand, and for the first time, he didn't pull away.